주문. 피고인 박태중에게 무죄를 선고한다.
I can't be the only one feeling this way, but K-dramas lately have not been sticking the landing. Here are the most recent K-dramas with endings that disappointed us the most. And trust me, this one actually hurt to put together. Warning, spoilers ahead. Let's start with a drama that looked completely unstoppable, and then face-planted at the finish line. Reborn Rich was one of the biggest ratings juggernauts of 2022, and honestly, it deserved the hype.
내 손주다. 너를 제일로 많이 닮은.
At first, Song Joong-ki plays Yoon Hyun-woo, a loyal employee who gets murdered and wakes up reborn as Jin Do-jun, the youngest grandson of the powerful Soon-young family. For 15 episodes, it's pure satisfaction. Corporate chess, calculated revenge, and a main character who keeps winning. Watching Do-jun outsmart his greedy, ruthless relatives over and over again. Chef's kiss, prestige-level television. By the time the finale aired, the ratings hit 26.9%, the second highest in JTBC history. Viewers were locked in. This felt like it was about to deliver one of the most satisfying revenge endings in K-drama history. Expectations were sky high, confidence was absolute. Everything was set. And then episode 16 happened.
여기 사람이 죽었어요. 나 때문에 사람이 죽었다고요.
Instead of delivering the payoff, the drama decided to erase the entire show. Jin Do-jun dies in a car accident. The reincarnation? Fake. The 17 years of scheming, growth, and empire building? Just a dream. Yoon Hyun-woo was never reborn. He was in a coma for 1 week. Because obviously, 15 episodes of corporate warfare, romance, and revenge can be fully imagined during a 7-day nap. Webtoon readers were especially mad because the original ending actually let Do-jun win. He survives. He becomes chairman. He gets his happy ending. The drama looked at that and said, no, let's erase 17 years of character development instead. And once people got over the initial shock, the plot holes became impossible to ignore. Hyun-woo and Do-jun look identical, yet nobody ever notices. Major story threads like the donut shop connection are never explained. And somehow, events that clearly took years all happened during a 1-week coma. At this point, even the most absurd K-drama logic cannot explain this. Here's the real kicker. The highest rated episode became one of the most hated endings of the year. Online polls crowned it the worst ending of 2022. Comment sections turned into group therapy sessions. One fan said it perfectly. Episodes 2 through 15 were golden television. Then episode 16 ruined everything. This one hurts. Not because it was bad, but because it was almost perfect. Queen of Tears starred Kim Soo-hyun as Baek Hyun-woo and Kim Ji-won as Hong Hae-in, and it was massive.
괜찮아?
사랑해. 처음 봤을 때부터 지금까지 사랑했어.
Every week it was trending, dominating conversations, already being called a classic while it was still airing. The finale pulled 24.9%, officially becoming TVN's highest-rated drama episode ever. Even, surpassing Crash Landing on You. And for most of its run, that success felt completely earned. The drama took a familiar chaebol marriage setup and gave it real emotional weight. This wasn't about twists, it was about healing. Quiet moments mattered. Conversations carried weight. Hyun-woo and Hae-in weren't just a couple in crisis. They were two deeply lonely people learning how to choose each other again. By episode 15, everything lined up. The villains were dealt with. The danger had passed. Hyun-woo nearly dying to protect Hae-in felt like the emotional peak. Not shock value, but sacrifice. The reunion was calm, mature, and satisfying. The story was done. This was the natural ending. And then episode 16 happened.
백현우 씨, 정신 좀 차려봐요.
The finale opens with amnesia, the oldest trick in the K-drama playbook. Hae-in wakes up after a car accident with no memory of Hyun-woo. After 15 episodes of earned emotional payoff, the show suddenly manufactures another problem. What follows is a predictable loop of hospital scenes and flashbacks until her memories return. For a moment, viewers thought it was a fake-out. They reconnect. The tone softens. It feels like the drama is correcting itself. Then, the show jumps to 2074. Hyunwoo is old, standing at Hyun's grave. No build-up, no warning. The happy ending everyone thought they were getting never actually happened on screen. The final scene reframes the story as a tragic farewell instead of the healing romance it spent weeks selling. That's why fans were upset. Not because it was sad, but because it felt misleading. The amnesia didn't add depth. The time jump didn't add meaning. It just stretched the ending longer than it needed to be and quietly changed the genre. Queen of Tears didn't fail because it lacked emotion. It failed because it didn't know when to stop. And when a romantic drama ends at a graveyard, instead of letting its characters live, it's hard not to feel like the promise was broken. Okay, shifting gears a bit. This next one is less about romance and more about a concept that genuinely had no business being this good. S-Line felt bold from the start. A supernatural mystery where strange red lines appear on people, tied to secrets and shame, and only one girl can see them.
저 생일 때마다 카드를 받았어요. 보낼 사람이 없는데. 처음엔 엄마인가 싶다가
Unsettling, original, and instantly recognizable. This was the kind of drama that felt like it was embedding itself into K-drama pop culture in real time. The kind people would reference years later as that really weird but smart thriller. It starred Aron as Hyun-hyup, Lee Soo-hyuk as the detective, and Lee Da-hee as the unsettling teacher Gyu-jin. And for most of its run, it felt like something special. For 5 episodes, the show was locked in, eerie, restrained, and confident. The mystery unfolded slowly. The rules felt consistent. The tension came from not knowing what the S-lines meant, not from shock value. It felt like the setup to a cult classic. The fact that it had 6 episodes made people excited. How will they pull this off? How is this going to be any different from any drama out there? Well, the excitement wore out thin real fast in the last episode. Episode 6 throws almost everything at the wall.
늦었어. 넌 이미 네 존재의 이유를 증명했어. 우리 둘 할 일을 다 했다고.
Within minutes, it randomly kills off a major character when metal rods fall from a building with no setup or tension buildup. A parallel dimension suddenly appears where Lee Da-hee's character is revealed to be running a cult-like group with no real explanation of how or why. The detective's father, who has been part of the grounded investigation, is murdered on screen with zero emotional setup. And then Aron's character is stabbed in a scene that crashes straight into a bizarre supernatural transformation. Soon after, Gyu-jin's blood explodes into millions of red S-lines that cover the sky and instantly make the S-lines visible to everyone. But why? Why did this happen? Instead of slowly expanding the world's rules, the finale throws in dimension jumping, cult revelations, massive blood eruptions, and a global everyone can see S-lines shift, all within the same episode. Instead of answering the central questions, the finale feels like it's inventing new ones. Bigger, stranger, and less connected to the story that came before. For a show this unique, that's a huge letdown. S-Line had the potential to be remembered as one of the most original Korean thrillers in years. Instead, it became a cautionary tale of what happens when ambition outruns structure. Alright, next one is painfully fresh, like December 2025 fresh. Dynamite Kiss was the romantic comedy breakout of the year, starring Jang Ki-young as Ji Hyuk and An Yoon-jin as Da-rim.
너 좋은 사람 아니에요.
네?
흔들려. 나도.
The chemistry was undeniable, easy, natural, almost unfairly good. The tone was funny, warm, and effortless. Even Time magazine was writing features about it. Everything about this drama screamed rom-com of the year, and for 12 episodes, it absolutely lived up to that promise. The banter felt natural. The romance didn't feel forced. The relationship grew at a comfortable, believable pace. This was the kind of show you recommended without hesitation. To friends, to family, even to people who didn't usually watch K-dramas. It felt modern, confident, and refreshingly free of unnecessary angst, which, in hindsight, should have worried us. Because instead of trusting what already worked, the finale decided to do the most.
그때 키스는 괜히 해가지고 참.
응? 키스가 뭐 어쨌다고?
어? 아니야.
Episode 14 opens by completely derailing the tone. Just when Ji Hyuk and Daerim are finally in a good place, misunderstandings resolved, main conflicts wrapped, Ji Hyuk is suddenly hit by a car while buying flowers for Daerim. No build-up, no tension, no warning, just instant tragedy dropped into what was supposed to be a feel-good rom-com. He survives, but falls into a coma. And when he wakes up, the drama pulls out the oldest card in the book, amnesia. Not partial memory loss, not confusion, full, selective amnesia. He remembers everything except Darim, the woman he's in love with, the relationship the entire show is built on. From there, the drama fully commits to speed-running cliches. Darim stays by his side, she tries recreating their memories. Familiar places, familiar moments. None of it works. Then the story jumps forward an entire year, as if time itself will fix what the writing refuses to deal with properly. And then comes the moment that really broke people. Ji Hyuk and Darim reunite at the exact same hotel where they first met, because symbolism, and in a move that feels ripped straight out of a 2009 drama handbook, an accidental kiss instantly restores all of Ji Hyuk's memories. That's it. No therapy, no emotional rebuilding, no consequences. Just one kiss and his brain magically reboots. Please. The writers didn't even try. After that, the drama doesn't bother slowing down. We jump ahead again and suddenly they're married, running, accompanied together, and raising 2 kids. Happy ending achieved, technically. But by then, it doesn't feel earned. It feels like the only happy ending the show knew how to give was marriage and children, regardless of how it got there. And that's the real issue. If the amnesia subplot never existed, the ending would have been fine. As an audience, we didn't need shock value that added nothing. A simple rom-com can stay simple, as long as it's consistent, and as long as it remembers why people fell in love with it in the first place. This drama didn't. It lost itself in the final episodes, and that's what makes it such a huge shame. Some of the most painful reactions weren't even angry. They were nostalgic. Viewers saying they wished they could stop at episode 12 and pretend the ending never happened, that they'd rather remember the drama for what it was, not what it became. And that's how you know an ending failed. And saving the most frustrating for last, the manipulated star Ji Chang-wook as Tae-jun, a man wrongfully imprisoned, and Do Kyung-soo as Johan, the mastermind who orchestrated his downfall.
주문. 피고인 박태중에게 무죄를 선고한다.
For 11 episodes, this drama was intense. The performances were strong, the conspiracy ran deep, and the revenge setup felt solid. Everything pointed toward one inevitable payoff: justice. By the finale, Tae-jun finally gathers enough evidence, and when Johan is arrested, it feels like the moment we've been waiting for.
알아서 할 테니까 신경 쓰지 말고 그 친구나 불러줘.
알겠습니다, 대리님.
After 12 episodes of manipulation, suffering, and build-up, this should have been the release. It lasts about 5 minutes. Johan's henchmen somehow break into the police station and free him. No clever planning, no long-term strategy, just a straight-up jailbreak. And as if that wasn't enough, Johan then murders the whistleblower Do-gyong, silencing the last person who could truly bring him down. Then comes the biggest cop-out. Johan dies in a house fire. No body, no confirmation. Just an official report basically telling viewers, trust us. Except the show doesn't even commit to that, because the final scenes still show the surveillance room running, with someone new watching the screens. Translation: the organization is alive. The villain might be too, and nothing actually ended. Oh, and Johan's mother, a supposedly important character, she just disappears. No explanation. Gone. That's why fans were furious. The villain escapes justice twice. First with a jailbreak, then with a very convenient maybe death. 12 episodes of revenge buildup end with zero accountability, no emotional payoff, and no real conclusion. Instead, viewers get a lazy maybe there's a season 2 and are expected to be fine with it. What makes this worse is that we've already seen this story done right. The Manipulated is based on Fabricated City, which also starred Ji Chang-wook, and that movie actually delivers. The conspiracy is exposed. The villain is unmasked. Justice is served. When it ends, the suffering feels worth it. The Manipulated took that same setup, stretched it into 12 episodes, and stopped right before the payoff. It didn't feel bold. It didn't feel realistic. It felt unfinished. A revenge drama that refuses to deliver revenge isn't clever. It's just frustrating. And that wraps up our list of the most recent K-drama disappointments. Did I miss any? Let me know in the comments, especially which endings frustrated you the most and why. And while you're here, make sure to check out the upcoming Netflix and Disney releases for 2026. Who knows? Maybe those endings will finally treat us better.